Hello, I think we are live now, hopefully. Welcome to the stream. Let me just set up the stream chat so you guys can see the chat in real time as well. And yes, stream chat. So we will basically be doing the same as yesterday. So yeah, like, does this work? If I leave it here, and then I added this particular window on OBS. Let's try that. Yeah, window capture. This is the YouTube comments. Okay. Okay. Now we have the chats up here as well. You put it just down there. I'll remove this, and remove this bit. Okay. And now we're just going to change the blending mode to screen. So hopefully you should see everything. Right. Cool. I mean, still not showing it. Can I just turn it slightly transparent? That is the question. I don't want to mess about with this too much because I don't want to waste so much time here, but okay, maybe that's what we'll have to deal with. You can still kind of see the comments in there, so I'm happy with that. So yeah, welcome to another stream. And in today's stream we're going to be writing some more Rust. Okay. Okay, cool. I cannot change the size of this little dock here. Okay, cool. Right. So it seems to be working. I'm happy with that. So you can see the chat in kind of real time on the stream as well. So I'm now just talking to myself now. Yeah, as I said, we're going to be doing some more Rust. In particular, we're going to be writing some more of a web crawler. So yesterday we kind of had kind of a basic, bare bones sort of link crawler for one particular page in Rust. So given one particular page, it finds all the links in it. And yeah, I mean, we achieved that using the request. Antonio Augusto. Hello. Hola. Hola, Antonio. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream again, man. It's good to see you again on the second day. As I was just summarizing yesterday, we found all the links, right? So today we actually have to make the program visit all the links and, you know, keep it going for a while. And we're... Tudo bem com você? Eu tô de boa, cara. Tô de boa. Tu é brasileiro ou português? Portuguese or Brazilian? That's what I'm asking this person here, Antonio. I'm just opening the project on Visual Studio Code. Ah, brasileiro. Bem-vindo, bem-vindo. Tu sabe Rust também ou ainda não começou a aprender? Ou tu faz C++? Como que você achou o canal? Let me see. Tempo, mas eu apanho bastante. Cara, o Rust é traiçoeiro às vezes, né, cara? Você quer fazer uma coisa simples e ele é muito complicado às vezes, comparado com outras línguas. Fazer build de C++, ah? Então você acha pelo C++, conteúdo C++, né? Bom saber, cara, bom saber. Tem vezes que eu faço conteúdo em C++, aí, tipo, dá certo, aí o pessoal assiste. Tem vezes que, tipo, o vídeo fica lá um ano e 100 pessoas assistem. Eu nunca... Tô tentando fazer um pouquinho de Rust agora pra ver como que vai sair aqui. Uma coisa que eu percebi é que isso aqui pode ser só um mapa, né? Só é href. Trib. Acabo spamando clone em tudo. Cara, clone. Tem essa aqui também, é tipo, você já viu o .into? Isso aqui, cara, eu escrevo toda hora. Ele converte os tipos, né? Aí, porra, tipo, sempre acabo escrevendo muito isso aí. Eu não tinha visto essa função ontem. Escrevi uma baboseira aqui que nem faz sentido. Isso aqui é um mapa, eu tô tentando iterar sobre todos os valores do mapa pra achar um valor, em vez de só usar o get aqui, que é um hash map. Foi muito estúpido. What's the key? The key in this case is going to be href. And this could be an optional, so we're gonna do OK or else. If I put just get, now what do I get? I get an optional. An optional of an optional. Interesting. So I need to check if this is available. Okay, or else. And I can just say anyhow error. I can simply do could not find href and link. This would return to me an option of a string, okay, which you can then do okay or else again. Anyhow could not href does not have a value. É isso que tinha que ser aqui ontem. Pronto. Mesmo código, bem mais fácil de entender. So yeah. I don't think there's anyone in English watching this, but I just changed some code here that was iterating through a map to find a particular key to just using sort of the get function, which is what we should have done in the first place. I noticed that as I closed the stream yesterday. Now, what do we have? href attribute. Cool. And here, all we need to do is just log that we found. I don't even need that actually, so we just do links push href attribute. You from the UK? Which part? Hi Slim, welcome back to the stream. Good to see you, guy. I'm not from the UK. I'm actually from Brazil. You can see I was talking in Portuguese with Antonio before, but I've moved to the UK in 2009. and I live in Manchester. I've lived in Manchester since then. So yeah, I've been here for how many years? Nearly 14, nearly 15 years. So yeah, man. Are you from the UK as well? Where are you talking from? Nice. Or are you American? I seem to have a lot of American people here on the channel. From London. Oh, right, yeah. I actually work in London. I work remotely for a company in London, so I'm there every month basically. Near Liverpool Street Station. That's basically where my office is. I do like London. It's just very expensive though, I've got to say. Would not be able to live there. Can I move our shared reference? Instead of call this mute. What the hell? Damn pricey, yeah, indeed. Especially house prices, dude. Ridiculous. I have no idea what Russ is complaining about now. So it's saying that I cannot move out of a shared reference. Consider calling href as mute to borrows type content. Is it because element is... it should really be an element there, right? I don't know how big this is. There you go. Right, that seemed to fix it. What were we doing in the first place? So this just gets the link on this particular node if one exists. And then after that we go through each of the children, right? And kind of do the same, call the crawl. Try removing the method call. Yeah, I mean I can't. Crawl element, children. Cool, yeah, we can just pass in. I believe this is it, yeah. See, Rust is nice sometimes. I just don't like the way you have to add matching cases every damn time. Thing is, can we simplify this with some Rust magic, as we did with the argument finding before? This kind of looks a little bit more readable. Cannot speak words today. So what we're trying to do here, we're iterating over all the children that are nodes, right? So what we could do instead is turn all the children that are nodes into this crawl element thing, right? Which will be like a vector of a vector or something. Let's see if we can do that. But I'm not sure if I prefer this for loop instead. We can see. I'm just gonna copy and paste this. Filter that and then we map all of them to okay, there's no way to turn this into a node from here. We have to use the match anyway. Okay, cool. I'm happy with this then. Yeah, let's actually get to what we're trying to do with this video. So in the first place, it would be nice to add some sort of like arguments to my little program, right? Because if I go into my target build directory, I've hard coded the root URL. In other words, where my crawl is going to start from. And it would be nice for us to pass it in, right? With like a command line argument or something. Or I'm still getting that error, which we'll figure in a bit. So yeah, I mean, let's do that. There is a library called clap in Rust that kind of does all the argument parsing for you. All you have to do is basically create a struct with all the sort of like argument names and the descriptions and stuff, and clap does basically all the work for you. So if we do Rust clap parser, for example, you'll be able to see what I mean. I know this because I used it at work, so this tends to be what people use for argument parsing in Rust. I've got a hot chocolate here. Just getting that amount of sugar. So yeah, this is kind of how it works, really. So you create a struct, and all of these sort of like names here, all of these fields will be passed in as a command line argument. In our case, we only really need one, which would be like the starting URL. But we're still going to use clap because I'm pretty sure we're going to be adding more arguments later on. And clap is a pretty good framework for argument parsing. So the first thing we need to do is obviously to include clap here. I'm not sure which version is the current one. So version 4.4.4. So if we do clap 4.4.4, does that work? Let's see. It does. And finally, we can actually just paste that example that we had over here. Let's just call it program ads or something. And we only need one for now, which is the starting URL, which is a string. I want to make it available for both short and long options. So yeah, I just need to include the stuff here. What is this? Cannot find attribute command. Import command clap. Yeah. This is interesting. Why can't I derive this clap parser? I've got a command here. I think this is just my VS Code being stupid. If I do a cargo build, what happens? Can't find this, but it's just there. Okay, something funny happening here. What is the issue? Cannot derive macro parser in this scope. Okay, but this is literally the same example that they've got on their website. Okay, so I need a feature flag. I probably need a feature somewhere, right? Where is it? Crate.io. I'm missing a feature for clap. I don't know which one it is, but certainly missing something. Or maybe not. Now, if we add this, import parser, and do a cargo build, it will still fail. Parser is imported here, but it's only a trait without a derived macro. So there is something I am missing. Let's Google it. You can add that in your cargo. Yeah, I've already added it to the cargo. So like cargo toml. This is the file with all the dependencies, and I've added clap 4.4.4 here. But you see, some of the libraries actually have some extra feature flags that you can pass into it. So for example, my request, I wanted the JSON encode and decode functionality with it. So you have to basically say, I want the JSON features. I'm guessing that there's something I'm missing with clap. Let's see. Yeah, perhaps Antonio. Wouldn't that be the command cargo add clap features derive? Maybe you are correct. Maybe I just don't know. There you go. You are correct, Antonio. So all I had to do is just include the version here. And the features, right? Yay. Obrigado, Antonio. Thank you, Antonio. Yeah, as you can see, I don't know much about Rust. Yeah, I'm still learning. But now we should have that, right? So now if we do a cargo build, it should build. Except we have another issue somewhere in this code here. So cannot move out of a shared reference. I would consider calling it as ref or as mute. Option string. Okay, so this is itself an option. As ref here. What does that say? What do we get here? So we get an option of string, but if we do as ref, we get the actual option of a reference inside it. Cool. And we kind of want that in here too. But then I can just do into here, right? Yeah, and that will give me the actual string value. And this is what I meant before, by the way. This is what I meant, Antonio. Just write intos all the time and as ref all the time when things fail to compile. Unless you really understand how the borrow checker works, which I guess most people don't, right? Especially if you're a new Rust developer, then you're probably going to find yourself writing a lot of these. Okay, cool. And now in the main program, we can actually get the kind of program args here, right? And then we can do program args, parse, I think. Can involve his string, yeah. So for the English people, Antonio is saying that he notices himself typing a lot of intos and as refs and whatever when we mess up with strings a lot, which I completely agree. I completely agree as well. It's going to take some time for me to truly understand the borrow checker and all the edge cases that it has. Start in URL. Cool. And now, if we do a build, or just clone, yeah, you can do a clone as well. We clone in Rust more than ever. Yeah, I do agree with Slim. Clone, into, as ref. Those are the three things I probably type way too much in Rust. But if we do Rusty crawler, and then I can pass in my what was it called? Starting URL, right? Starting URL. If I do my website, so https mattgomez.com. I have a double starting. Just misspelled with starting there. It should find all the links on my website, hopefully. Unless there's an infinite loop somewhere. I guess we'll figure out. I forgot to enable logs, that's why. Rust log equals info. What is going on? Okay, it's just taking a while for my website to reply. And it kind of looks right. I mean, in my website I do have my LinkedIn profile, my Discord, and so on and so forth. It still works, so I can now just pass in the starting URL. Now the key is though, like I've got all these URLs and I need to sort of create a queue for my crawler to visit, right? So it will visit the next link on the queue. Now this queue can't really include duplicated links because it will be a waste to visit the same website twice. So I kind of have to do some logic around the queue to make sure I only queue up links that I haven't already visited, right? Now I'm sure that Rust has a queue, a good queue somewhere, right? Rust queue. Vec deck. Okay, so this is like a deck in C++, I guess, right? Yeah, it's a double-ended queue. Cool. Now, it would be interesting to see if we have a thread safe queue in Rust thread safe, because the plan for this project is to actually have you know, multiple threads visiting many websites at once, right? That's why we've got Tokyo in, because we want to kind of do that in a thread pool or something. Now, let's see what people have, what people generally recommend. I mean, this is way too much code here. Yeah, I'm aware of the ARC type, which kind of, you have the same queue referenced in multiple threads. So I'm tempted to use this deck type with the arc type, but I'm not sure yet. Yeah, let's do that for now, just so we can get it done with, right? Function get URL is never used. Oh, okay, yeah, it is never used because it should be here. Get URL. This function takes 2 arguments, but only 1 was given. How about now? Good. So what do we want here? We want into. Maybe I'll just do clone here, just so I can have that string there. Expect a string file and string. Okay, no worries. There we go. Any more errors, Rust? Don't think so. Yeah, so let's start by actually creating that queue right up here somewhere, or we can do it in our main function. At some point, we actually have to refactor all of this and turn things into proper components. Like all the crawling stuff could probably go into a library of its own, and all the argument parsing can stay here, for example, and the queue maybe can be another component as well. We'll figure out. So we have crawl URL there. What if I did, is it stud deck or something? Vec deck? What was it called? There are queue and stack collections in Rust. Both vecdeck and linked list have pup and push. Okay. Now let's see. I mean, we could use a linked list as well for our links, but it would be nice to have something a little bit more efficient in terms of like storing all the strings contiguously. That would be nice. A double-ended queue implemented with a growable ring buffer. It's a ring buffer. So implementations creates an empty deck with space for at least capacity elements. Okay, so I'll probably be looking at something in here like this. Cool. Let's use this function. std collections vecdeck. Let's see if we can do this. So if we let our link queue equals, well, that will have to be a vec_dec, right? Of string vec_dec. What was the function again? With capacity, right? And the capacity here, let's just put it to 1,000 links. So for now, we're just gonna find the first 1,000 links. This would be a good contender for another command line argument, right? Maximum number of links or something. Maybe we can add this as a command line argument or something. So this will have to be a mutable object because we're going to be adding links to it. Cool. And then I don't know how the logic is going to go yet, but we basically just want, we definitely want these links here, so. And we also want to say something like, you know, for sort of like link in that link, no. Maybe just do like a little loop here to loop until the queue is empty, right? So what is the loop labels in Rust? I remember there was a way to create a label. There you go. This is kind of what I want. So yeah, the logic is like we have this loop that will just run forever, and if our exit flag is kind of set, then we exit the loop. Or in fact, all we need to check is really if our link queue is empty, right? So if it's empty, there's no more links to crawl, basically. And we also kind of want to do a check, maybe. You know, also check that max links have been reached. Right, something like that. Cool. So yeah, let's start with this. Link queued up. Can I push into it? Push back, yeah. Arg starting URL. Then I don't have to do this. I can let my link simply be the link from the link queue. Pop back. Now, does this function? Is this like a C++ pop where it doesn't actually pop the element? It doesn't remove the element. Removes the last element from the queue and returns it, or none if it's empty. Great. Cool. So in Rust lingo, we can just simply do this map. This is the URL. We're going to map it to crawl URL with URL there. With the starting URL. And what's wrong, Rust? Found string. Okay, so we can do this. Right? What is wrong now, Rust? Cannot return value referencing function parameter URL. Huh? Returns a value referencing data owned. This is confusing. What's going on? This is intentional, prefix it. But what is the issue? The issue is that I'm returning a result. Oh, is this because it's async? Yeah, it's an async function. Damn, I can't just call async await in here. It doesn't work, unfortunately. However, there is something in kind of Tokyo where I can join all of them, right? So Tokyo join all map or something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's kind of this one. Futures. Join all futures. Okay. I still don't know what the issue is here. Cannot return value referencing function parameter URL. Returns a value referencing data owned by the current function. Does it? This does not return any. I'm confused here. Well, when in doubt, we can simply just Google the error, right? And hopefully someone will tell us exactly what this error means, because I have no idea here. It's saying maybe the async future takes ownership of the URL, hence we can't, I don't know. Biggest problem is the code is we use string in the expression node. This simple fix is to change it to string. This allows us removal of all the lifetime annotations. There's also a second fix, yeah. I don't want to get into lifetimes, so maybe we just change this to a string, right? And it, it kind of just works. Yeah, great. String core element. Okay, what's the issue? Borrow or value URL. Okay, cool. Let's clone it. Now this is a little bit better, I guess. Right, so now we can do sort of like futures. Is it join all? I can't remember which one it was. Future join all, okay. And then we can do an await there. I'm just thinking now, this is just one link. This is just one kind of crawl. So why am I assuming that there's loads of them for me to join all? Yeah, there should just be kind of like unwrap all. Okay, or I guess. Oops. Yeah, this should just be okay, or I guess, or else. Anyhow, and then we could not. Empty queue. That's the error here, if we do get it. And then we await on it, right? That's simply what we do. There you go. That looks a little bit better. So await and then that. now we've got the vector of all the links. Cool. I'm kind of doing the same check twice as well, because I'm checking if the link queue is empty, and I break out of the crawler, but also in this particular map here, I'm also giving out an error if it is empty, which shouldn't really happen because we've already checked that it's not empty. So maybe there's a way of doing both of these things, in one place, which I think there is. If we just kind of, can we set this value here? So can we break in here? Is that a thing in Rust? I'll be surprised if this works. Nah, it does not work, of course. Break inside of closure. Cannot break inside of a closure. I don't know why I even tried. Yeah, let's just leave it here for now. But yeah, I mean, at this point in links, we've got all the links there. So what we can also do is we can, the link queue, can we append links, right? Does it work? Does it just work like that? Mismatch type expected, immutable reference, mute deck. Can we just turn it into, please? Does this work? No, it doesn't. Ok, expectativa achando que podia funcionar também. So Antonio expected that it could work too, but yeah, breaking inside of a lambda is not going to work, is it? Let's just be honest. Yeah, now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add all of the links that I found inside my queue inside the deck. I mean, very ugly, I could just do a for loop here, but I don't want to do that. I kind of just, it would be nice if append kind of worked for vectors as well, right? So maybe there is, append vector to vec queue Rust. Let's just hope there is a nice way to do it. Extend. There are some performance articles on the vec deck. It'll be interesting to read those at some point. I don't really have time now though. Yeah guys, I think I'm gonna have to give in, and then just for this particular case just do, for link in link queue, we're just gonna do a link queue and a push back. There you go. Of course I did it wrong. It should have just been links. Yeah. I mean, this is a little bit better, and we have the capacity for 1,000 links here. So maybe if we want to make this safe and make sure it's not going to run forever, we just changed, we put the max links here into an actual variable, right? Because then I can reuse this value in my checks down there. So I can say if a link is empty, or something with max links has been reached. So now this is the interesting part, because with the links that we've found, as well as adding them to the queue, I want to add the current visited link to sort of like a set or something that tells me that I've already visited that link, right? Now, yeah, I'm sure that Rust has a set as well, and it has a B-tree set as well. I don't know which one would be better in terms of scaling. So Rust has a set, hash set, which I guess for all intents and purposes is good, right? It's probably better than a binary tree set. So yeah, let's create this one. That should be very easy again. So it should be kind of like... Oh. Already visited links here. Hash set of strings, right? That's all we need to do. Except this is not C++, and that has to change a little bit. Already visited. Here's a hash set of string. And this is a hash set. Maybe that. Cool. And to my already visited, I want to make sure that I insert into it. Is it insert? Yeah, the correct one. Seems to be. I'm going to set my link in there. Of course, I have to check if it's already been visited before I add it to the queue, right? So for each link, if the already visited does not contain my link, and this is pretty sure it's that, only then I can add it to this, right? And this should be the current link, which is, how do we find? The URL. Wait, this is incorrect. Ah, okay, yeah, I just forgot to get my URL, yeah. There you go, so that URL equals, ooh, yeah, that URL equals link queue. I'll pop back. Let's not map it anymore than we have to. Yeah, I'm going to rewrite this slightly. And you see why I'm doing that in a second. It's just because I need the reference to the URL after this call here as well. That's essentially why. But now it's the current URL to visit. And here we can simply do, instead of all of this, crawl the URL. Right. Gotta wait, of course. Does that work? Yeah, that works better. So I've got all my links here, and I can also now use that URL here. I am sure that it's going to tell me that I've messed up here, so I'm just gonna help myself and put the clone there before it gives me a chance. Yeah, in this case, the check that we want to do here is to check that the already visited size, is that a thing? Or length, yeah. If it's more than the max links, then we're done, right? We're done with the program. So either, when the queue is empty, or when we have already visited the max links, okay? Which is cool. Now, one thing I want to do is I actually want to remove all of the, maybe remove all the infos. But yeah, let's leave them for now. So essentially, this is the crawling loop, right? We were talking about this yesterday. This is the crawler loop. This is what's going to be doing my actual crawling. So at the end of this, my already visited hash set should have all the links that I visited. So in here, I can just print them. I can just remove this ugly log in the first place. And then I can do something like for I can just simply print it for now. I don't really care too much about the layout. Already visited there. Okay. And this is this is the program for now. Let's see if cargo run rusty. Oh no, actually, let's do a build and then we'll do a run separately. So if you guys are still following, now we should get all of the links at the end that we found. Up to 1,000 links. I think we're doing up to 1,000 links. We're going to turn the maximum number of links into an argument in a second. But yeah. So if we do rust log equals info, rusty crawler. What was it? Starting URL. Set that to my website, gomez.com. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Do I expect this to work? Absolutely not. He only found one. Yay. I mean, he only went to my page, so it's definitely, I guess, this check is failing here. And why is it failing? Because the link queue has not been added to. So if yeah, this logic is not quite right. Maybe it's time to set up debugging now. So let's okay, no, let's set up a launch JSON here for this. I think in the first place I need to code LDB. So I need to debug my project now. It would be a miracle if it worked straight away. Un milagri. Let's just restart this because I think code.lb does require this restart. Oh, opened the wrong one. I've got to tell you guys, this playlist is absolutely shit, and I know it's simply because I can't play copyright music if I'm streaming. I don't get as many views, so I do apologize for the bad playlist, for the bad music. All right, there you go. Now we have a code.ldb here. Launch. Okay, so workspace folder. And we've got target. We want to debug target, debug, and then it's rusty crawler, right? And the arguments, this is the important steps. So we want the starting URL, if I can spell it right, to be something like this. In fact, let's just put them in different ones. And the current working directory doesn't really matter much. But yeah, I mean, this should essentially work. So the name is rusty debug, right? Now, if I remember well, code.ldb does have some weird issues regarding jumping the code and so on and so forth with cargo. Sorry, with Rust. So hopefully I'm not going to get that issue here, but so we'll be able to jump through lines quite right. There you go. So we're on to try main. Let's see what's going on. So the link is not empty now, nor is the already visited links more than 1,000, right? So the URL is simply, what do we have here? We have magomez.com. And the links. See, this is the issue. This is what I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, because we're switching threads, I think, right? Where are we here? Let me start this again. I have absolutely no idea what code LLDB is jumping to there. That's the only problem with debugging Rust in VS Code, in my opinion. It's like code LLDB doesn't work properly. At least for me, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. But you know, that works fine, you see. And if I want to go to this line, I have to do this. Unless it fails, there's something that fails there. Good, good. Something does fail in here. So something goes wrong in here. It's good to know. Okay, no, it does go through. It just takes a while because it's a code request, I guess. Oh, is it really not going to show us what's inside the vector? Amazing. Yeah, another thing with code LLDB, I have to actually enable pretty printing somewhere before I do all this debugging. Now let's see what happens here. So for link, in links. Oh. Is this empty? Is this what's going on here? I need to enable pretty printing because I have no idea what's inside these containers. That's the issue. Ash builder. There is pretty printing somewhere that needs to be enabled. Yeah, we do have a Rust analyzer already. Is debugging mentioned here? Microsoft Teams on Windows or code.ldb on macOS Linux. If you forget to install one of these, Rust Analyzer will provide a notification. We've got this. Control-Shift-B. Allow breakpoints everywhere. Allow setting breakpoints in any file. You need to enable setting, which you can find. Okay, I didn't know that. Control plus that. Allow breakpoints everywhere. Okay. I mean, yeah, cool. This shows how to hit a line with code LLDB, but it doesn't show how to show the values inside, like vectors and stuff. This is not what I'm finding though. Unless these things are empty, I guess, right? Let's try again. So I can't see what's inside my links. Oh, now I can. Okay, cool. So URL, I can see the value of that as well. It has the whole string. So I'm just kind of guessing that this is then empty if it's not showing me anything, right? Okay, this is going to be the most stupid thing in the world. I'm going to show you guys exactly what it is. So crawl URL is returning an empty vector, right? Why is that? Can you spot the error here? Anyone? If you're still following. The clue is here. Yeah, guys, yeah. It's my own badge. So what can I do? For link and crawl, we just log it, right? So what we should be doing is, we should have this at the very start. For those who don't know, multiple K's in Portuguese just means laughing, right? So you can see that on the messages there. É, Antônio. Eu tô rindo pra mim mesmo também, cara. Crawl URL. So I should be doing... something like res.push. What's the issue here? Value moved here. Cannot borrow res as mutable as it's declared. Okay, is that gonna help? Cannot borrow value. Oh yeah, it's because it's not mutable. Yeah. Yeah, then it's gonna complain that links. Yeah, it's being borrowed there. Okay, let's recompile this. Now let's try again. Rust log. Target. I mean, at least we got to set up the debugging, which is good. If we have any issues in the future, we can debug it. Now, in theory, they should do up to 1,000 links, right? I don't know how long that's going to take. But as you can see, it did the first page. And it found quite a few. And then he did Cloudflare, from the looks of it, right? Why did I even mention Cloudflare? Ah, okay, yeah. It shows a mistake already. Like I'm doing a lot of Cloudflare links instead of just sort of varying the URLs a little bit. So, yeah. Still going. Yeah, Cloudflare, for those who don't know, is like the service that checks for bots online, basically, and every website has one. So I must have hit one website that has Cloudflare as it's sort of like walled at the start, and then it's detected me as a bot. So I'm pretty certain that my bot is going to get blacklisted in a second if I ever quit out of Cloudflare, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm just gonna let it run to see how long it takes to reach 1,000. We're still on Cloudflare, Jesus Christ. There you go, Instagram, and Cloudflare again. What if we sleep a bit between requests? Yeah, that could work. Usually if you sleep for like a few seconds before making another request, you might not get sort of blacklisted as much, but you're still gonna get blacklisted eventually. I mean, ideally, ideally you have a different like threads running different requests, and maybe different sort of agents running the requests as well, so it's not the same agent every time. So. But I don't really know how people write scrapers. I need to look into like one particular scraper to see how people overcome this issue. But yeah, I mean, dude, we're still on Cloudflare. We're never leaving Cloudflare. Oh, a lot of trademarks, yeah, a lot of trademarks. I do wonder how many links we visited so far. From the looks of it, quite a few. Maybe we're on like 500 or something now. I am kind of wondering whether I should just store the root URL, you see, on my already visited thing, so I don't visit Cloudflares all over again, all the time. But yeah, let's see if we can do that quite easily in Rust. Get root of URL in Rust, of course. Oh, there is a type called URL. I should be using this all along. The parse method from the URL creates a valid crate validates and parses a string into a URL struct. This is going to simplify a lot of the work. Once the URL has been parsed, it can be used with all the methods in the URL type. Cool. Yeah, let's try this out in the code. I'm going to let this run until the very end. No, I think there is a bug in the code, you know, because it's adding Cloudflare and then trademark, and it just keeps going on forever. There is definitely an issue in the code. Yeah, there's an issue in the code. Yeah, this is definitely something I'm doing wrong. It's maybe Cloudflare sends bots to trademark. I don't think so. Maybe it does. Let's see. If we Google this, and then I think it's probably just my code that's kind of adding too many trademarks. Yeah, it's just my code. I'm pretty sure it's this function here. That's probably the cause of the issue. So like, if the URL starts with HTTPS or HTTP, and then we simply return the URL. If not, that means it's a relative URL. So that means we have to put the root URL at the start and then concatenate it with the relative bit, right? So like /services, for example. That would be like google.com/services, but something goes wrong in this particular case. So link found in this. Why is it actually returning me a link though? Ah yeah, because we do have a HTML file which has a lot of other things to it. I see, and I guess it goes to the Cloudflare default error. Yeah, it does. And the page itself has more links to it as well, so that's probably what's going on there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pause this, and then maybe if I use the URL library instead, it wouldn't be such an issue, because that actually has functions to tell me whether or not it's a relative URL, I guess. Right? So let's have a look. Rust to URL. So let's add it to cargo in the first place. Stop this. So which version was it? 2.4.1. Okay. Now, where do I deal with URLs? At the very start of my program, I have one URL coming in, which is here, right? So what if I turn this into a URL? So what if I did let URL test? I just want to see what's inside the object itself. URL parse. input can be a string. So args start a URL. This is going to return me a value of type URL. Now, what can we call with this? I guess it's better if we look at the documentation here, right? So it tells us the scheme, the username, password. One thing I want to find out is whether it parses relative URLs, which is fine. Path. Many contexts allow URL references that can be relative to a base URL. So if we do parse this, we assert it's a relative URL without a base. Since parse URLs are absolute, given a base is required for parsing relative URLs. Okay. Now this is very interesting actually, because it solves another problem that I haven't even figured out we have, which is links like this, you know, where you go back once and then you have main.css from the base, I guess. Use the join method on a URL to use it as a base URL. Now this is going to be very, very interesting to us, indeed. Okay, cool. So let's try that. I kind of just want to change all of my strings that my functions are taking, for example, crawl URL, into a URL type. Just to enforce me to do this refactoring right now. So I think we should definitely do this. Now get URL, I guess we should also do URL here and URL there. Path has to be a string actually. I mean, to make this even cleaner, I think what we can do is we can do a URL equals URL.parse, right? And then if we pass in the path here, this could return two things. This could be one of those errors that we've seen. Parse relative without a base, that means it's a relative URL. Or if it's a full URL, it's going to work, right? So in this case, let's set it to here. And let's actually just lazily use a match clause here. Match URL parse. What's going on here? Yeah. So if it's okay with a URL, we simply just return the URL, right? If it's not okay, if it's an error, or anything else, right? It doesn't really matter, you know, it's an error. Then we have to pass the this URL type here. Sorry, this root URL dot join, and then we can do what does join take? It takes a string, yeah. So we can put a path in there. And what does that return me? That returns us a parse error or a URL. So if it's a parse error, we don't want to return anything here. Very sort of map error. I'm just going to map it to anyhow. Could not join. Could not join relative URL. I see, and I guess it goes to Cloudflare default error. Yeah, that's the same one. right? What do we have here? Now, what issue is this? Has incompatible types, operator cannot convert. Result URL anyhow error. Expected enormous. What is joining going to return me in this case? Here's a return me. Okay. I can't just map the error. I need to map the entire thing. So now map. Will this work? Also no. Yeah, I want to map basically between types. URL has its own error type, which is result here, which is from the lib itself, I guess, right? From Rust's standard library, and I want to map it to an anyhow. Okay, so how do we do that? Google tells us how. I'll leave that URL there. How to map Rust result to anyhow result. Come on, tell me what the simplest thing is, please, with context. Anyhow, error from, okay. Is this not gonna work? Anyhow, error. You use CLion most of the time, or new Vim at work? Oh, this is actually not CLion, it's VS Code. At work, I'm actually using VS Code as well, Slim. I used to use CLion for C++ when I was working in my previous company. I did really enjoy the environment, and I thought CLion was probably one of the best C++ IDEs out there for CMake. But then Visual Studio also released a bunch of CMake updates, and then they're both pretty much the same. You can get the same functionality in both Visual Studio, CLion, VS Code, with all the C++ like language servers, and also Vim and a new Vim if you're really into just bare bones systems. But yeah, I use NeoVim a lot on my Raspberry Pi though, whenever I feel like coding on that. So yeah. The trait from bound URL error is not satisfied from implemented. Okay. What the hell is the issue here? So anyhow, error from. Not the same thing. Required for anyhow error to implement from URL. Am I really gonna have to do another match one here just to get this code compiling? I think I am. I was trying to look for a more rustic sort of thing here. I can use Bale here actually. Okay, this is a little bit ugly. I mean, it would be nicer if I could convert between Rust errors to, I guess, anyhow errors quite easily, but this will have to do. Simplifies our function quite a bit. Now, if we get the URL between href attribute and what's going on here? Root URL is URL. Mismatch types string found. This operator has incompatible types. Operator cannot convert from URL to string. Oh yeah, because it returns me a URL, doesn't it? So what I need to do is kind of get it to string, I guess, and that that seems to work better. What do you guys use, by the way? Do you use C-Line? What, Slim? What do you use to develop C++? Are you a VS coder like myself, or are you still kind of using C-Line or Visual Studio? I guess it depends on the work you do, right? I mean, when I was doing Windows development at Microsoft, I used to use Visual Studio quite a lot because it has a lot of the driver stuff that we needed, and you can't really get that on VS Code or anywhere else for that matter. So yeah. I use VS Code, but I work with Python usually. Ah, cool, Antonio. So what kind of work do you do? Are you a data person, a data analyst? I feel like Python is very big in data and machine learning, I guess, nowadays. So what do you guys do? Line 92. What is on line 92? I think I'm quite delayed compared to you guys. I'm really sorry. I think there's like a 2-minute delay for some reason. Yeah, I'm getting the logs. Sorry, the comments are very delayed. So I do apologize for that. And you were right, Slim. I think it was around line 92. I had to move the stuff, right? And then KKK from Tibia. Oh yeah, Tibia. I remember that game. I used to play that. I think it was quite big in Brazil. A lot of Brazilian players, yeah. Dude, yeah, Tibia. That was a good game, wasn't it? Oh, I need to bring back the memories. It was such a good game. Oh no, not this one. It was this game, and there was a game called Ragnarok at the time as well. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. These were the two biggest RPGs at the time in Brazil, I feel. Maybe Antonio will correct me here. I remember McDonald's used to do sort of like Happy Meals with vouchers for these games. So yeah. But yeah, it was very good. Going back to the code. Yeah, if you guys are making comments about the code, I do apologize because it's a bit delayed. So I get your comments like a minute later. So yeah, sorry about that. My friend still logs into Tibia. Got a daily reward. Yeah, man. Already visited. Include URL. What's URL in this case? Say string. We already have that. Right? Yeah. what's root URL? It's simply a URL here, but crawl element takes a root URL. Oh yeah, it's because we are kind of just need to clone it here. We also need to clone it here, yeah. Now what's going on here? URL test is intentional. Right, this should work a little bit better now. Let's see if we still get this kind of bug. Hopefully I fixed it with all this refactoring, but I'm pretty sure it will still be there, so. Now, fingers crossed. There you go, we're already onto Cloudflare. Okay, could not find href in link. Cool, so something happened. Closure is expected to take 0 arguments but takes 1. Huh? Okay. Or else. So basically, start your router to get a new IP. Yeah, I could do that. I am on a dynamic range here, so it's not really a static IP that I've got that would work for me. So the issue here is that one of the hrefs kind of, yeah, one of the hrefs has an 8 in it, but it's not a link, right? So basically, wherever we call this function, we've got to make sure that we can ignore that issue if it's a problem. Yeah, problem is that this is going to make it a little bit uglier here because I have to match this. So what I can do is I can do let links equals crawl element, I guess, element and URL to clone. What I want to actually do is to match it, right? And if it's, what does this do? Yeah, we're just missing arms, that's fine. Does this work? Yeah. Just an empty vector there. So ideally, we also want to say that we couldn't find one of the links here in the flow. Okay, now this should ignore that issue where we may not find a link in one of the href attributes, right? Of course, you have to rebuild this. You can see here the link for my my website designer, I guess, or the person that created. There you go. That's my blog's WordPress theme right here. Yeah, if you look at them, I've made minor modifications to it, but I left the credits there at the end, so that's where it comes from. What if we use HTTP status code to avoid getting into error links? Yeah, that's one of the things I need to do in the future as well, Antonio. That's a very good good suggestion. Something that we need to do, really. So we need to basically check that the response was 200 if we want to actually look into the links. If it wasn't 200, that means, you know, you haven't reached a successful page. So you need to basically just kind of ignore the links in that page. So yeah, that's what we're going to do in the future. So yeah, it will be right where we are making the requests themselves, which is whatever we call requests. Ideally, we would actually look for just the domain and the path. Let's see if there's a way to do that actually. So, oops. I'm going to check that two URLs are the same with this library. Oh. Maybe it'll take a little bit more than a few Google searches, but. How many links are we on now? Does Notepad have a word counter or a line counter? Yeah, there you go. So we're roughly 500 links at the moment, so it'll take a little bit longer than that to reach 1,000. But it's still going, right? It's not stopped yet. There's also a very subtle bug that I just realized. So when we add the links to the queue, we check that they haven't already been visited, right? But we haven't checked whether or not they are still in the queue. That's the issue. So ideally, what we can do is we can change this queue into another hash set or something like that, I guess. That's basically it. But we can keep this running for a second and see if it's going to work. The reason being is because I can see the same links being added a few times, like this complete themes here is added every time one of the pages on my website gets hit. This definitely isn't ideal, but that's a bug we can fix in the future. Let's see how many links it roughly added. We're still on 600. Do you have a specific goal in mind with this crawler? Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to search for specific types of data. So at the start, I think searching for images would be very interesting. So as well as searching for all the links, for every page I can kind of find the links to images and kind of download them onto a data set or something like that. But then we can make it a little bit more complicated as well, but letting you search for any kind of data that you can possibly have on a website, right? So this is a combination of like looking for particular sort of like formats in the data on the website, or looking at the content type, a header given by the response in each link. I think those would be quite interesting. But I mean, the starting goal was just to basically create a web crawler that kind of works and crawls over all the links, right? So that's the very basic kind of goal that I have for this project. And then I can figure out how to make it a little bit more interesting. Well, just making a very basic scraper would be ideal. Like scrape all the images that you can find, and boom. Am I already banned from my own website? I don't know. How many links are we on now? I should probably add a log saying how many links we've found so far. Yeah, it's very slow. After it's found a good 500 links, I think that my my web server is kind of blocking this a little bit, or not replying as much as possible to this particular agent. So yeah, but it seems to be okay so far. I mean, we've got quite a few different links at least. So yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna, I've just realized I'm not gonna let this run until the end. It's just too much of a waste of time. But it seems to be okay. And partly because I've realized that we also have an issue right here. So we are checking that the already visited length is more than the max links, right? But interestingly, the link queue is actually much bigger than the already visited. At the time that I stopped this, the already visited hash set was probably just 10 links long, right? So we only managed to hit about 10 pages. So if you look at, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe a good 15 pages or so. But yeah, this is taking a while, so having multiple threads here would be interesting to speed this up a little bit, and having multiple agents as well would be interesting. So I wonder if that's possible with request. So concurrent requests, we're definitely going to look into something like this to make it a little bit faster. How does this code work? As of request 0.11.14. So what are they doing here? They're creating a new request client, and they add in the URLs here. And then they stream it over the URLs. And they map it, stream it to a closure, client equals client. Async move. Interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll take a look at this code and do something similar. Quite a few people seem to be indicating this sort of pattern, or suggesting this sort of pattern here. But yeah, interesting. So yeah, I mean, the future of this, I don't really know. Let's see what we can do tomorrow. I think the goal for today was basically to add the command line parsing and then make this actually do the concurrent requests, right? So I guess in that sense we managed to do something. Of course, with your guys' help, Antonio and Slim, you guys actually spotted a few issues, so that was interesting. Now, aside from that, what else did we want to do? Yeah, we wanted to create the URL, a queue to crawl the URLs, which we kind of have. It's not necessarily functional because there are a few bugs in it, and then store the already visited URLs somewhere efficient. Yeah, we kind of have those things. But what I can do is I can push this. If you guys want to check out the code, by the way, there is a GitHub in the links in the description. So feel free to even push to it if you guys want to improve this stuff. If I look for my repositories, yeah, this is the one. Just, yeah, feel free to help out if you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push all these changes here that I've made. What did I do? I commit, added a URL queue, URL type, parsing, and recurse logic. Yeah, and that's it. I'm gonna push. Yeah, now that I've pushed this, I'm gonna actually leave, guys, because I've been coding for quite a long time today, especially after work. But hopefully we'll be back again tomorrow to continue coding this stuff and make it even more complicated and, I guess, complex. Get something that actually works better. Yeah, I really appreciate Antonio and Slim. Thank you guys for helping out and spotting the mistakes. It's nice to have people watching this and coding with you. Sometimes it's just me like streaming on my own, but yeah, still fun regardless. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a good evening, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Valeu, valeu. Ciao, ciao.